Welcome to another edition of App of the Week. Today I want to show you an app called Classkick. Classkick is a presentation tool that will allow you to pull a variety of different resources, websites. You can do voice recordings. You can pull things from the internet, like worksheets or something like that. And you can put those into your presentations and let your students interact with them. And what's great is, as a teacher, you will be able to see and respond and interact with your students in real time as they're working in Classkick. So it's one of the great things about it is that real-time feedback, the real-time interaction, to be able to see how your students are doing in the middle of their work on their own device. So currently it's only available on iOS devices. They are working on other options, being able to develop, being able to access this from the web, from options for Chromebooks and Windows. So that is in there. They're in the process of developing that, but currently iOS is the only place where you can access this right now. So let me show you how this works. So I open up the app. For teachers, you're going to click on the bottom there to sign in. It's extremely simple to create a brand new account. So if you're brand new, you're going to click create new account. I'm going to go ahead and sign in because I've already created one. And when you sign in here, this is what you're going to see. This is what Classkick, the dashboard, will look like for you as a teacher. So over here on the left-hand side in the margin, the black, you're going to see all the assignments. It's going to default with a student and teacher tutorial just to kind of give you a walkthrough of how some of these things are done and what it will look like from both perspectives. But I do want to, and I'm going to go over how to create one here in a second, but this is where you'll see that information. You'll see the name of any assignment that you're currently on at the top here. So you see I'm currently on practice assignment up here. So if I were to click on teacher tutorial, then you will see it'll change to that one as well. Each assignment that you create will have different rosters to it. So if you when you can add rosters if you want to, you can click there and you can add a roster, and whenever you create a brand new roster, it's going to give you a class code. You'll see right here where it says the 9BK9 letter O0. That's the class code. That's the join code that you would give your students to join this class. Just like if I go to this one, you'll see here's two other class rosters that I have, and I could give my students those join codes. So this is great for if I wanted to differentiate this a little bit and I wanted to give maybe some students one join code for one assignment and give some other students another join code for another assignment. I could do that. So it gives me that flexibility there to do that. I also want to point out to you, you'll notice here up at the top, right next to where it says practice assignment, it has this little arrow, this little share arrow that I can click on that will allow me to share this assignment with another teacher. So I could make this available to another teacher just by putting their email address in there, and I can send them a copy of this assignment, and they could use this with their Classkick. So it's nice to be able to create presentations, create these different activities, and then share them with my colleagues. I also want to show you another great sharing feature they have is here in the marketplace. So we're going to create a brand new assignment on our own, but just so you can see here in the marketplace, they have assignments that are already done. They have some that people have already begun working on, and you can click on here, you can search the gallery to see what they have and see some of the great things that people have already done here on Classkick. You see that there's been some really creative things that people have been working on, and I can click on one and let this open, and now I can go through this particular assignment that someone else has created, and if I like it, if I think what they did is going to be very useful to me, then I can click that save button and it will show as an assignment on my list here, and then I can make that available to my students. So I'm going to hit delete and just back out of this for right now, but it's just good to know that A, I can share assignments with other teachers, and B, I can search for ones that already have been created so I don't have to start from scratch. But we're going to start from scratch now just to make sure that we're comfortable with how to do this. So I'm going to hit the plus sign up at the top here next to assignment, and then it gives me the ability to add a new assignment or upload a PDF. So if you have PDFs that you're using in Google Drive, you can upload these. I'm just going to select to add new, and then once you do that, I can go up here and give my assignment a name. So I'm just going to call it Harrison assignment. hit done. And now my assignment's ready. I can add rosters here if I wanted to. I can play with that and add new students to this. My question sheets, where I'm putting all my content, they will show here. It starts me off with 3, but if I wanted to add more, I continue to add additional ones here if I wanted to. So I am going to, I actually jumped to the 6th one. So I'm going to start with the first one. And I'm going to begin creating items in Classkick. So you'll see these 4 circles here. The first circle is just an expand and collapse. So when I click the first circle, it's just going to expand or collapse the tools that are available. So that's all that one really does. So I'm going to expand those again. So the first 2 options are my pens and my erasers. So if I click the pen one, I see different colors here, and then I can now begin drawing things on here using these pen features. So that's what's useful here. So I can put whatever I want to. Doesn't really matter, but it gives me those options here. And then the one underneath it is just my eraser. I can clear this whole screen, or if I wanted to, I can just clear certain parts of it. So the nice thing about it is you just have to really touch that part, touch the line, and it'll get the whole thing, and all that will be gone. So those are the first 2 options, your pen and your eraser features. Down at the bottom here, you'll see it says 1 of 6. So that lets me know I'm on the first slide of 6, or the first page of 6. So I'm just going to hit the arrow to move to the next one, and then I'm going to show you the rest of the tools from here. So I'm going to click this plus sign here, and that's going to give me some additional tools that are available to me. And some additional tools include this first one, where I can add text here. So I could type in something in here. I'm going to type in text. And now I have some text in here. So I can decrease the size of this text by hitting the A with the minus sign next to it, or I can increase the text by hitting the A with the plus sign next to it. So it gives me all those options. It gives me options to change the color of the text as well. So I'm going to click inside here and highlight highlight the text, and I can change the color of it to different things if I wanted to. And I could also expand this box. So if I wanted to make this bigger, this little green double arrow, the double-sided arrow, I could drag this to change the size of this box. And at any point in time, if I decide I want to move this text around, I can do that just by putting one finger on it, and I can move it anywhere that I want to. But that's the text feature that you can use for Classkick. So I'm going to jump to the next page, and now I'm going to use the voice recording feature. Now the voice recording feature will allow me to record my voice, and then when the students click it, they'll hear my voice. So I could use this to give my students directions for a variety of different things. I'm just going to use this almost like a spelling test. So when I hit record, I'm going to say, all right, class, I want you to spell the word ambidextrous. And students will hear that, and then they could either using the text feature or using the annotation buttons, using the pens, they could spell out that word. But you can't spell that word. I know I can't. And the same thing before. I can move this. The only difference is I can't move it with one finger. If I want to move my voice recording, I have to use 2 fingers. So I put 2 fingers on that, and that will, allow me to move this anywhere that I want to on the screen. Now you also notice that as I move this, there's a little trash can over here. So if I have something that I don't want, I can move this. I can move that item over to the trash can. You'll see it'll get big like that. And if I let go, that particular item will be gone. I want to hold on to my voice recording, but this will work with anything. Any objects that we're going to put in here, you can use the trash can in that way to get rid of the object. So I'm going to click the page, go to the next one. And the next one is just going to be links. This could be a link to a website that I want my students to go to. So when I click on here, I'm going to give my link a label. So I'm just going to type in CMS Learns, and then I'm going to so probably like to spell learns right, and then I'm going to put the URL in here, and then when I hit the check mark there, the CMS Learns will be there too. Now keep in mind, I've been doing one item per page. You can do as many items as you want to per page. I can have my links in here, and I can also incorporate my pins in here if I wanted to as well. So don't feel like you can only use one per page. That's just what I've been doing. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want, but use as many as you want to on one page. It's just what I've been doing. So now when my students see the CMS Learns option, they can click on that and it'll take them to that website. So let me go to the next one and show you the final feature, which is the ability to pull things from your camera roll. So let me show you what's really cool about this. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to pull a screenshot of a printable worksheet that I found on the web. It's a simple worksheet that I found on the web. Now I could use this whole portion. I could take this whole thing, and now that this whole document is going to be in the page, I can take two fingers and expand it by expanding my fingers, and use this whole portion. Remember that the two fingers here is going to serve dual features. It's going to resize and it's going to allow me to move this whole thing. So now my students will be able to see this, but I can also take portions of that. So in this here, I'm going to take the same worksheet, and instead of clicking the whole thing, if I just wanted maybe one column of it, I'm just going to drag over that and then say use, and now just that particular column will show. Now it's going to show large like that, but again, with two fingers, I can drag to resize and to move it to a location that I want it to be in. So I apologize, the pen is picking up on me as well. But you see here, it gives me the ability to pick portions of what I have in my image and just put that portion in there. So now my students can just interact with just that column if they wanted to, or they can go back and do the entire page. So when I'm done, all I would have to do is hit this green plus sign, and now my assignment is ready to go, and now I can give my students this join code for my class roster number 1. So I would just give them this MYU 142 for them to access this particular assignment. So now that I've shown you how to create an assignment in Classkick, I want to show you both the teacher and the student view. So what I'm going to have is at the bottom where my student iPad is, I'm going to have them launch the Classkick app. And what they're going to do is type in the class code, and after they type in their class code, they are going to type in their name, and this automatically puts them into the roster for my class. Once they are able to launch the app, I'm going to launch the teacher app as well. That will come up here in just a second. So now you'll be able to see both the teacher and the student view. I'm going to click view student roster from my teacher view. So you'll now see that my student is already beginning to work. They're writing things in there. And as a teacher, I can see what they're writing in there. So I have that simultaneous view. I can see what they're doing in real time. Now the student down here at the bottom can ask for help. They click a little hand. When they do that, it shows up on my screen. When they click for help, I'll get that little orange hand on my screen, and I can just click on that particular slide, and I can see what the student is doing, and I can offer assistance. Now I could just write in here with annotations, but you do have these options in here where you can just enter in one of these pre-made responses in here. Now you can make your own, you can delete these, but you can just make your own. You can set your own icons for each one of these, but this is just a really simple way where you can give feedback to your students. As soon as I click on it, the student will now see it on their device. So it just makes giving students respondents and feedback really easy. So now I'm going to move on to my next slide, where I'm going to skip over one, and we're going to just go straight to the worksheet that we have. So now the worksheet that we created with the math problems, now my students can go in here and they can just start answering problems. They can put in the answers for each one of these, and again, as a teacher, I can see what their responses are. And the nice thing is the student doesn't have to ask for help. If I see that something is wrong, I can go into that particular slide for that student, and I can begin annotating in here on my own. I can circle something, I can put an X, I can give them whatever feedback that I want to, and as I'm doing it, the student will see that as well, and now they can make the necessary adjustments to make sure that they get the problem right or rethink whatever it is they're doing. So again, it's the great real-time feedback that Classkick offers you. So this is, again, Classkick, a free app that is available in the App Store, and it's an excellent tool for collaboration between students and teachers and students and students.